Do you think that you could be brave in all of these situations? There are scarier things happening throughout the nations. I mean, people would sit and think of what to do all day, but when the time comes, they would have nothing to say. The important thing is that you know when to do it. Just a minute of confidence could get you right through it. Just pray to your God. He'll tell you what you have to do to win. He'll make you a hero, not a powerhouse of sin. But do you think that you could face the point of a sword just so you could obey the orders of the Lord? Well, 3 guys did that a long time ago. And just to follow God, they went toe to toe with fire itself. Put their fears high up on a shelf. If you were there, you'd probably go and wet yourself. King Nebuchadnezzar, that was his name. He's the one who went and threw those heroes into the flames. If he saw someone disobeying, he would lean and take aim, start his game, and throw you in that fiery box of shame. Yeah, I know that it's lame. It's the way he became the one who exclaimed a way to keep his people nice and tame. His claim to fame was like a rain of pain, making this a harsher story than Abel and Cain. But remember, be brave and you'll start to resurface. I hope you enjoy. It's cool in the furnace.
My name is Daniel, and I'm here to tell you a story. It's a really great story, and it happened to me and 3 of my friends. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Yes, Abednego.
Oh no, Shadrach. What kind of name is that, Meshach? Who has a name like that, Shadrach? Meshach, Abednego. Whoa. Oh no, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego lived in Judah a long time ago. They had
saying, this story happened when my friends and I lived in Jerusalem. It seems the people of our country were tired of paying tribute to the king of Babylon, the country next to ours. So we stopped paying the tax, which was fine for us, but not so good for the king next door. We didn't know too much about this neighbor of ours, except that his name was Nebuchadnezzar. We'd heard that he'd done great things for his country, and we'd also heard that he had a very bad temper.
What do you mean they're not going to pay the tax anymore? Of course they're going to pay it. They must pay it. What makes them think they don't need to pay a tax just because they don't feel like it? We'll see who doesn't pay taxes. Get my horse, get my army, get out of my way. We're going to Judah.
Nebuchadnezzar did come to Judah, and there was a terrible battle, and we were all taken prisoner and made to go live in Babylon. When we finally got to Babylon, we found that Nebuchadnezzar really wasn't such a bad king after all. He gave us a nice place to live.
Yay!
He sent us to school. He gave us nice clothes.
Yay!
He gave us all brand new flip phones. He offered us goodies from his dinner table.
Yay!
No, our folks had taught us not to eat that kind of food. So we talked the palace guards into letting us have the kind of food we'd been taught to eat at home. Then later, when we were called before the king, he said we were the strongest and wisest of all the people he'd captured. He was very pleased with us.
Yay!
Which just goes to show it pays
To remember
what you learned at home.
It pays to remember what you learned at home. All of your days. It pays. It pays. It pays. Yes, it pays to remember what you learned at home. All of your days. It pays. It pays. It pays. Yes, it pays to remember. It pays to remember all your days. It pays. It pays. It pays. It pays to remember what you learned at home. All of your days. It pays. It pays. It pays. Yes, it pays to remember what you learned at home. All of your days. It pays. It pays. It pays. Yes, it pays to remember. It pays to remember all your days. It pays. It pays. It pays. When you're out in the world and feeling blue, and you've bitten off more than you can chew, there's surely one thing to help you through. Just remember this phrase. Remember it pays. It pays to remember what you learned at home. All of your days. It pays. It pays. It pays. Yes, it pays to remember what you learned at home. All of your days. It pays. It pays. It pays. Yes, it pays to remember. It pays to remember all your days. It pays. It pays. It pays. When you've got to decide what you should do, but those doubts are all that nag at you, you better slow down and think it through. Just remember this phrase. Remember it pays. It pays to remember what you learned at home. All of your days. It pays. It pays. It pays. Yes, it pays to remember what you learned at home. All of your days. It pays. It pays. It pays. Yes, it pays to remember. It pays to remember all your days. It pays. It pays. It pays. It pays to remember. It pays to remember all your days.
Everything was going fine until one night the king had a bad dream. It frightened him so much that he woke up, but then he couldn't remember what he had dreamed. That made him angry. And you know, Nebuchadnezzar could get very angry.
Make way for the king.
nightmare. I haven't had a wink of sleep since 3 in the morning, and if I can't sleep, neither can anyone else. Up! Up! Get the magicians, get the sorcerers, get the wise men, get my mommy, and get them now!
They came scurrying from everywhere, bowing and scraping, shivering and wondering what the king was angry about this time.
It took you long enough to get here. I've had a bad dream, and I can't remember what it was. So can you tell me what it means? Can you tell me what it is and what it means, and now? Right now.
All the wise men thought they must have heard wrong. Surely the king didn't expect them to know what he dreamed. Finally, one of the wise men said very politely,
Oh, great and wonderful king, there must be some mistake. You must tell us your dream, and then we can tell you its meaning.
Me? Tell you? What good are you if I have to tell you everything? Do you think I pay you so that I can do all of the work? No! I called you here to tell me 2 things. 1, what my dream is, and 2, what it means. Now, if you can tell me what my dream is and what it means, I'll reward you with great riches and honor. But if not, I'll have you thrown into the fiery furnace. Get to work!
There was first some wise men, tra-la, who had a great problem, tra-la. We were asked to describe what went on inside of the head of
Between the king's shouting and the wise men's wailing, it wasn't long before everyone in the whole palace knew about the problem. As a last resort, they sent someone to ask Daniel if he could help. Well, he'd interpreted dreams before, but he'd never been called on to tell someone what they had dreamed. So Daniel went to his friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They talked about dreams for a long time. Then they prayed that God would tell them what the king's dream was and what it meant.
Where are my wise men? Why hasn't anyone told me anything? I knew they just couldn't do it. They're all worthless. Oh, everybody just takes advantage of you when you're old and forgetful. Nobody loves me. You just can't get good help anymore. I'll have their heads. Oh.
King Nebuchadnezzar,
What? Who are you?
I'm Daniel, one of the captives from Judah.
Who? Oh, yes, I remember you now. What do you want?
I've come to tell you about your dream.
You've what?
I've come to tell you what your dream. Your wise men could not possibly answer your question, and I couldn't answer it on my own, but the God my friends and I worship can.
Well, what does this God of yours tell you?
He told me what you dreamed, and this is how it went. You dreamed of a large statue, and the statue was made of gold and silver and iron and brass and clay.
Yes, I'm beginning to remember it now. But there was more. Tell me the rest.
Then a big stone fell and broke at the feet of the statue and shattered into 1,000 pieces. And then the stone changed into a mountain which covered the whole land.
Yes, that was my dream. I remember it all now. Well, you've answered the hardest question. Now, can you tell me what it means?
It's a prediction for the future. You are a good king, and you're like the gold in the statue. But the kingdoms to follow you will not all be good. Some will be like silver, some like iron, some like brass, and some like clay. But they will all be destroyed. But God will set up a kingdom which will not be destroyed, but it will be like the mountain and last forever.
This is the most astonishing thing I've ever heard. You say this God of yours told you this?
Yes,
Well, Daniel, you and your friends will have high places in my government. Also, I will spare the wise men. How do you like that? In fact, I will make a decree so that all of my people will know about your God. This is my decree. Your God is a God of gods.
Our God is a God of gods.
Your God is a Lord of kings.
Our God is a Lord of kings.
A revealer of secrets.
A revealer of secrets.
Praise the Lord your God.
Praise the Lord our God. Let the people praise. Let the people praise. Let the people praise God.
It was a great day. Everything was going fine for a while. Then the king got a bright idea.
I just had a great idea. I'm going to build an enormous image. Then I'm going to call all the princes and the governors and the captains and the judges and the treasurers and the sorcerers and the rulers of all the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which I, the king, will set up.
And that's exactly what he did. But that wasn't all. At the dedication, he made an announcement.
Now hear this. All the princes and the governors and the captains and the judges and the treasurers and the counselors and the sheriffs and the rulers, from this time on, whenever you hear the sound of the horn, the pipe, and the lyre, and the psaltery, and the harp, and the bagpipe, you will bow down to the image which I, the king, have set up. Oh, I have
Well, Daniel and his friends couldn't believe their ears. They liked the king, and he had been very kind to them, but they could not obey his law. They couldn't bow down to his statue. They worshiped the one true God, and his law said, "Do not worship idols." It was a very hard decision, but they knew what they had to do.
Says
might have guessed, it didn't take long before someone tattled to the king.
King, did you know that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are worshiping your image?
Well, the king didn't know, and he called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to come before him.
Now, is it true that you are not worshiping my image? Don't answer too quickly. I want to be fair. I'll give you another chance. If you bow down now, I will forgive you, and everything will be fine, okay? But if you refuse, I will have you thrown into the fiery furnace, and there's no God that will be able to save you.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego just looked at the king and said,
No, we will not worship your idol.
What? You refuse? So that is how you repay my kindness? Prepare the furnace. Heat it 7 times hotter than ever before, and tie those traitors in knots, tightly. Show them no mercy, and throw them into the furnace.
So they heated the furnace, and they took my friends and threw them in. And then something very strange began to happen. Nebuchadnezzar bent down to get a good look inside the furnace, and then he bent lower to get a better look because he couldn't believe what he saw.
It isn't hot in the furnace, man. It isn't hot in the furnace, man. It isn't hot in the furnace, man. This furnace is cool, 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 cool. Yes, it's cool. In the furnace, man. Yes, it's cool. In the furnace, man. Yes, it's cool. In the furnace, man. This furnace is cool.
This furnace was hot to other men, but it cooled right off when we came in. Now, God takes care of those who trust, and we know God will care for us.
It's cool, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool.
We told the king we're sorry, man. That law defies what God demands. We'll have to take the consequence and trust the Lord for our defense.
It's cool, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. Cool, it is hot. In the furnace, man. It isn't hot. In the furnace, man. It isn't hot in the furnace, man. This furnace is cool, 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 cool. Yes, it's cool. In the furnace, man. Yes, it's cool. In the furnace, man. Yes, it's cool. In the furnace, man. This furnace is cool, cool, cool.
So in we went without a sound. We thought we'd have a look around. We'd roast a while and have some fun and leave again when we were done.
It's cool, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool.
That furnace was hot and glowing red. They thought we'd burn like homemade bread. But we didn't burn and we didn't run. And God just smiled and said, well done.
Cool, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. Cool, cool, cool.
I want you to picture this scene.
there is Nebuchadnezzar staring into the furnace and not believing what he sees. And there are crowds staring at Nebuchadnezzar. And there is a furnace, and it is so hot it is glowing. And inside the furnace are the three friends.
But are they in pain? Are they in trouble? No, sir. They're having a ball. That furnace isn't fazing them one bit. They're enjoying it, and that's making King Nebuchadnezzar pretty nervous. And there's something else that's making him even more nervous than that.
Now there are 4 people in the furnace. The king put in 3, and now there are 4. Nebuchadnezzar has counted them carefully, and he cannot understand how or why. Simple. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego trusted their God to be with them, and there he is, right there in that furnace.
Now the king has a real problem. If God can save these people, what would God do with a hot-headed king like him? So what is the king to do? He can't even get their attention. They just look at each other as if to say, hey, this furnace isn't too hot. In fact, this furnace is cool.
And you know what? They did. They came out of that furnace and marched right up to the king.
I take it back. Everything I said about your God not being able to deliver you. He is able. Oh, have I been a foolish king? I've let my anger run away with me. But I won't do that again. I have learned my lesson. In fact, I'll make a law. Yes, I'll set down a decree that no man is ever to say anything against your God. Or I will cut into little pieces and I'll just have you promoted to high positions in the land of Babylon. Now let us all remember, there is but one God, and we are to be true to him, and we are to praise him. Or I'll try to remember my promise. Now let us all praise God.
Praise the Lord
Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Mrs. Riley, and we are so grateful to you. And we want to thank you. We want to thank Barb and Kelsey, and I'm not sure who all else was helping you, but we're really, really grateful to all the musicians, Bruce, everybody who had a hand in this, and so grateful to the parents who enable your kids to be here and who trust your kids with us and who have this support, tremendous support for this music ministry that's been so important to this church. And we're really, really, really grateful to you. And we're really grateful to all of you. Good. I was going to say, I thought that there was something else. Yes, please.
Okay. I would like to take the time to thank Mrs. Riley for all that she has done for me over the years and all the hard work she has put into this show. Despite the challenges that have occurred to make this show happen, Mrs. Riley put in so much extra time to make sure it was perfect. I have been making music with Mrs. Riley for 12 years, and I can't imagine having another choir director. You want to read that?
She is a very special person and has played a huge role in our lives, pursuing music as a passion. Thank you for all that you have done, and I wish you the best of luck next year.
So, now you're done? No, keep going, please.
We'd also like to take a moment to thank Mrs. Frame in particular for all that she's done in the production of this show, for organizing a lot of things, and especially over the past 2 weeks or so, making sure that everything looks good, everything's going to plan. But also over the past 12 years, as she's been both Claire and my bell and chime director for the past 12 years. So we'd like to just thank her for all the hard work that she's done in that position. And then finally, we'd just like to thank everyone else who has made this possible, and no matter how they've done it. In particular, Kelsey Roswald for the work that she's done. We have a card for her. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Come on, Kelsey. And Kelsey's done a lot this year and also in past years after she's graduated from high school in making sure that these plays have been a success every single year. And then finally, we'd just like to thank anyone else who's made this a success, especially Mrs. Mason, Mrs. Dixon, for their work behind the scenes that isn't really thanked much.